All right, there was one table which asked me for 5 extra minutes. I think you got quite a more than that. I think that was the table which was at the far left of mine, where Nikhil Desai is sitting with Vasi. If I'm putting names correctly, there's Vasi there. There's this lady whom I saw with Saurav Ganguly. She was there, and there are a couple more. Okay, Sonika is there. So some names I'm putting faces and names together ASAP. So you still need time? Are you all set? Sonika's table said they need 5 minutes. You still need 5 minutes? All right, let's have 5 more minutes to again engage yourselves on the second topic, which is there. And I think, which was the second topic? Professor Sasmita, Samantha, Rupinder, Sandhu, Sophia. Most of them are not there, I know that. The names which I read most likely are not around. Are you there? Professor Sasmita, Samantha, are you there? Rupinder, Sandhu, Anand? Sophia Kudjoji? NS Napinai? Major Niti? I think you already joined the table. Major Niti? Yeah, okay. Major Deepi Devi? Dirusha? Captain Sandhya and Dr. Anvita. And you have some more new members on your table. All right, let the conversations flow for the next 5-7 minutes. And by that time, we'd be all set with the second and the third tables also. In the meantime, the third tables also start wrapping up. This is a very experimental way of learning, which I am also experiencing first time in such a big hall like this. So can you all applaud that this is going well and you guys are still there and not bringing out your knives and daggers around. Even the ladies with muscles didn't try to squeeze me out, so I'm still alive and unstoppable. You wanted to say something. If you would like to introduce yourself and stand up. So people can look at you. There you are.
I'm Dr. Rajshri here, the founder of Catalyze. We are an online education company and we are offering live interactive one-on-one classes for students all over the globe. It's not just me. I think all of us here had a discussion on the first topic, which is sustainability, women in sustainable leadership and entrepreneurship. We have, two people from the services here. I think I would like to pass on the mic to Pallavi first, because they had very good insights about this in the armed forces. 1 minute.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Pallavi Mahapatra, a rescue helicopter pilot from the Indian Air Force. I served for about 1.5 decades, and with me, my colleague and my senior, I don't know where she is sitting right now, from the Indian Navy, Commander Varuna. So we had a very long discussion, and we heard the entire day about, a lot of people talking about maternity and motherhood and so many things. I have 2 boys. The elder one is 12 years old and the younger one is 8 years old. I really don't know how they grew up. So both me and my husband, we fly, and thanks to lovely people who came across in our lives, and the grandparents and our neighbors who helped bring up our children so that we could do our duty well. And just one thing I would like to share with all of you, that courage doesn't see gender. And the aircraft which I fly, or which I've flown, doesn't recognize that there's a male pilot or a female pilot. It's just a pilot, right? So the fact itself that, a lot of things are changing right now, and I come from a very rural village from Odisha, and I've interacted with a lot of people who are Odia here. So it is not the people, it is how you think you can change your destiny, and you can, do wonders for your nation. And thankful to all of you, rocking ladies and lovely gentlemen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Pallavi. One of the topics that came about in sustainability is that women are better money managers. And sustainability is a very big part of sustainability is financial management. And the only thing, that I feel that women have to do is to take control of their finances, Be aware of what they are earning and make sure that they manage well for a very sustainable future. I'm going to give the, mic to a colleague.
Thank you. I'm Dr. Sagarika Devbarman, a business communication coach and consultant. And one of the experiences which I had in the past 23 years is that there has been now more women supporting other women in leadership positions below and above, which is very, very important today. Men naturally support other men, and we need to learn from that. On the reverse side, if another woman is not very right in her behavior or way of functioning, and somebody points out, if that other woman points out that, well, you may improve here, a woman needs to be more open-minded, take it objectively, and do the work and change. So acceptance of criticism in a positive way is what we need to have for us as women and evolve ourselves. So this is very, very easy for men. The moment the other say, you did this and you should correct this, they take it positively. Why don't we women also implement this in our personal and professional lives? I think we can go a long way ahead. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
We were told this morning that, women are wired differently from men. And I think coming back to the point she made, it's very hard for women to not be emotional, whereas men don't tend to be emotional, okay? So we take things to heart, and then, that sort of gets in the way. But I've been told my sister is now into emotional literacy, and she said, we have every right to demonstrate our emotions. So don't be afraid to be emotional, because you have every right, thank you very much, every right to do so. But in our table just now, we were discussing that, I should stand up, that, women tend to be jealous of each other, whereas men are not so. And I think one way of getting over this and to really set up a boys' club like the men do, they honestly play, I can tell you from the Malaysian experience, my husband included, they play golf and then they select board members. I'm not kidding, this is how they do it. Women are left out on this journey. So what we've done is, we've set a women's club where all the women get together, we network. It's hard for women to network. You've got to go to parties and, see the CEO and tell him how good you are. He needs to trust you if he wants you on your board. So you really need a, friendship. Build this network with other females, and that's one of the ways of, getting onto boards, C-suite, whatever. Thank you.
All right, I think you guys are taking it literally flowing now. Let me have a debrief from the team who had stepped up. Can we have the team step up and do that?
One last sentence I would like to say. This is a time of collaboration and not the competition for all the women. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for staying back, the ones who are. Now, we are trying to debrief the discussions that we had for Roundtable 2. And my very first point is, Dr. Pandit, when I came in the morning, I was sitting there in the second last row. It was full of all the men here, there, everywhere. Where are they right now?
That's what I say when you're put on a stand. I'm literally on a stand here.
Number two, we were having very interesting conversations that women have it all. They can be the leaders, they just sometimes lack confidence. Women have these abilities. Women can be empathetic leaders. We, of course, know that. But where are the men? They need to be a part of this conversation. They need to be a part of our table. So it's not your fault, but maybe next time we have round tables where men are included in these topics. And then we see the whole conversation will change. When you have a woman in boardroom, yeah. So that was the most rocking table I saw. Number two, yes, we heard our friend from Malaysia saying that we are seeing number of women on board increasing. That's very good and should be appreciated. But to be very honest, there's one more flaw over there. What we are seeing is the guy who was playing golf and who selected one lady, that same lady will be on 7 or 8 boards. So that is what, again, so we count that there are 10 women on board or 8 women on board, but unfortunately there's only 1 woman on board. Not every time, but that's one case to be noted. And before I share the mic and ask my colleagues to share their inputs, I have one more point to share. I like to talk about women and SDG. Of course, there are 17 SDGs. I'll talk about SDG 11. Not this Indian financial budget, but last budget, Government of India doled out a lot of money for rural India. Now, just giving out money is not good enough. We need women to be part of policy making, part of policy advocacy, and we were, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go in the entire detail, but giving you one example. When a poor laborer who's coming from the hinterlands of India for daily wages to cities like Mumbai, Delhi, for their livelihood, again, the problem is the poor lady or the wife or the better half is left over there to face all the possible problems. A, climate issues. In summer, there are so many places in India we do not have enough water. So it's left for that woman to look after the family, children, find ways of getting water, facing harsh climate, and also try to find money for the family to feed the family. And most of the times, they are abused during this time. So there's so many different areas that we have to consider, and therefore, I think it's very important to have women as a part of policy making if you want to truly have India moving from rural to urban India. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Bhavna. So my name is Dr. Anvita Prabhakar. You see me in a sari today, but I'm also a martial artist, training from the last 18 years. Okay, the reason I'm saying this is not to speak about myself, but to say that every woman in this room, outside this room, in every village and every town, is much more than just being a wife or a mother, right? So, and like we discussed in our table, we have the ability to multitask. Does that mean that just because we can multitask, we don't have our men to support us? I think that's a narrative that we need to change, number one. Number two, adding again to what the point that she made is that the brush stroke for all sustainable development goals is not going to be the same. In urban, the story has to be different, and in the rural areas, it has to be different. Giving a very small example, but an important example, is what we did in terms of cancer education, ovarian cancer education, in a lot of rural villages in India, rural and towns. What we did see that really changed the needle in certain places and what didn't change the needle in certain places was the presence of a woman in the committee. And a committee sounds like such a big word when you go to a village, but essentially it's just implementation, right? So getting all the women in her town to go and get themselves tested makes so much of a difference versus a man being on the community. I just want to re-say that it's not that we're fighting against men, we're with men, but we want women and men to be, talking shoulder to shoulder, and they have to be part of the policy. We can't have one gentleman at the table. We need to have many gentlemen at the table, not one Dr. Alok. We need to have loads of them. Only then all the policies that the government does, all the sustainable goals that we want to achieve by 2030 that we discussed at our table, only then, they will be achieved. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Anvi. I just want to build on that. My name is Dirusha Ganapathy Juta. I'm the managing director and founder of Beyond Transform. So, look, I think it's about time that, when we talk about gender inequality, it's a very hot topic in terms of the SDGs, and I believe that it is about time that we include both men and women in the topic. Men need to be our allies in this journey, and they have a role to play. And I just want to give an example of a man's role in society in terms of the different levels that he plays as a father, as a husband, as a leader in organizations. As a father, he's a role model to his children, because as youngsters, we are conditioned to think about things in a certain way. We are conditioned by the attitudes and behaviors of our parents. And as a father, you are setting the precedent for your sons and your daughters in terms of how you treat women, by how you treat your wife in the household. Whether or not you're supporting her in terms of caregiving responsibilities, in terms of how you speak to her, in terms of being respectful towards her. That starts in the household, because as youngsters, we are conditioned to believe certain things. So if I, as a child, see my dad hit my mom, I think it's okay for a man to hit me. If I'm a boy, I think it's okay for me to hit my girlfriend, right? So it starts in the household. So men need to act as role models in the various roles that they play in society. As a leader in organization, we need to obviously, I think men and women need to be more conscious around contributing towards effective policy making, around being more deliberate, around providing opportunities to women in the workplace in terms of career progression. It is not okay to say that because you're a mom and you have 3 kids, you're not going to be able to be in a higher level job role. Because now you've just made an assumption, and you've now just discriminated against somebody and made a decision for her and her life, which puts her in a very difficult situation, because you've just disempowered her from becoming more and becoming someone. And you've reduced her financial capabilities. Now, if you actually think about the decisions that you actually take, it has a ripple effect in so many different ways. By taking a decision on not providing one of your female employees an opportunity because she's a mom of 3, you've completely disempowered her on so many different levels. Because if she has opportunities to actually progress in the workplace, she has the opportunity of higher income. And with higher income, she can cater and do more for her family and be able to play a much more enlarged role in society, as an example. There's also different, as what I'd also like to say about gender equality, and I think it's something that we really need to think about. It's something I mentioned at the table with a group of ladies, is that we need to be very conscious of how we perceive things, because we grow up with stereotypes to believe certain things to be true, certain cultural norms that we that we are socialized into believing that aren't really true. So as an example, if a man is authoritative and a man is seen to be in control, he is seen as being assertive. Whereas a woman who is, whereas a woman who is actually asserting herself, she's seen to be very bossy. So what I'm saying to us is that even as women, we also can also be very, we ourselves can also be victims of our own, creating barriers to our own success in terms of how we view and how we perceive things. So I think we need to be very conscious of the stereotypes that we are living with, and we need to be very conscious of how we perceive certain things to be, because we can actually restrict ourselves from becoming more successful. I think I'm going to give it to you now, because I've spoken a lot.
Thank you so much. Patience is a flower that grows not in everyone's garden, but it grows in my garden. And in all our gardens, because women, we are known for patience, empathy, kindness, and let's embrace it. And I want to give a shout out to Trimurti. I would say Trimurti, because we also have these women from army background, Major Nidhi, Major Deepi, and Captain Ma'am. Please, Sandhya, full name. Yeah, because she was the one who sent us here. She said, like strategic department, she said, we are delegating, you guys go on stage and tell what we said. That is army for you, women leadership for you, staying back and sending other people in the front. But the problem is, behind every author, every CEO, male, there was a mother who was behind, just like these three ladies, and Dr. Aarti Arun. Also, and then there is that little girl who sang, wow, I can't sing like you. We are unstoppable girl. Yeah, so these are the people who send us here. So if men are on the forefront of the world, we must remember it's on the bedrock of women who were kind, empathetic, and not taking credit for themselves. But now it is time to take credit for ourselves, thanks to our unstoppable girl. Sometimes, piche rehna bhi utna acha nahi hai. I'm translating it in English. It's not always good to be so patient, so standing back. You need to come forward and embrace yourself. Be kind, be empathetic. You don't have to be a man. You can be kind towards everyone. Dr. Alok, Dr. Bhatia, all those. There are great men. There is also Purva, right? Purva, he's a photographer, 20-year-old man who is supporting all of us women. Please give a shout out to every single man who is sitting in the crowd. Please. Hats off to you. Because I was just telling them, when man is receiving these awards, his family will turn up. Mother's mother, his mother, everyone. But women are receiving Super Achiever Award. Where are the men? Where are the family members? We need people to come here, cheer for women, don't we? Only then we become human beings. Men, women, and all LGBTQIA+, because I'm also LGBTQIA. I mentor people. So when we all come together, then only we get human beings. So remember, like these Trimurti ladies from army said, you have to be kind, but you can still be a leader. And they are the leaders because of which we four are standing. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone.